on Daf Mem Bet Amud Aleph, pretty much in the middle, where it said the first word on the line is Erva. It's actually 2 lines in a row. The first word on the line is Erva, and then right afterwards it says Bishlama. The second one it says Bishlama. So we're in the middle of talking about this halacha of Havchana, that a person has to, a lady who gets divorced, or if her husband dies, or she wants to remarry, she has to wait at least 3 months. And we had 2 reasons, machloket, why. One reason was just the pasuk says that that I'm gonna be, the Shechina is gonna be with you when you have you know who you're miyuchasim after. So you have to know who the father is in case she's pregnant. Second opinion was no, it could really lead to problems. Maybe we're worried that this guy might think that he's part of this family. Really, he has a sister from the first father that's his real father, and he's going to end up marrying that woman, or all sorts of different types of arayot. So now we're going to discuss, why does it have to be 3 months that they have to separate? So just the background is, in the times of the Gemara, it was understood that if a woman has a baby at 8 months, it's not surviving. It's called a nefel. It's a stillborn, doesn't make it, doesn't live. The only chance for a baby to live is if it's born at 7 months or at 9 months. 8-month baby doesn't live. So the Gemara says, Bishlama.
The Gemara didn't mention about it 7 months. By 8 months doesn't live.
I don't know if if the Gemara gives a reason. The poskim saying nowadays, the Gemara, according to the Gemara, a person is not allowed to be mechalel Shabbat for a baby born at 8 months because it's not going to live. There's no chance. It's like a thing. Yeah, but the Gemara says that nowadays, the poskim say that nowadays, we see that it's not, it doesn't work that way. You have that with Baruch Hashem, with different equipment and procedures that they have, they could salvage, they could survive. Right, they could help the baby survive. Okay, so Bishlama Tamtin Shtaim, waiting 2 months, Tamtin Bet Chodashim Vetinase Lo. That's not an option, to wait 2 months. Why? Hainu sefeka, dainu sefeka. This is the whole safek. Right? Ibar tisha lekama, ibar shiva lebatra. If she gives birth, she waits 2 months and she gives birth 7 months later. That's the whole safek. Is it 7-month baby from the second man, or is it 9-month baby from the first man? So that she can't do. Ela tamtin chodesh. So what are you gonna do? Tell me that she should wait 1 month. So tamtin chodesh echad v'tinaseh ve'i leshiva yalda haybar shiva lebatra. Why don't we say like this? Let her get married 1 month later. She'll wait 1 month, she get married. Now, if she has a baby 7 months later, so it's a 7-month baby for the second one. Who? Ve'i letimnaya yalda, and if she has a baby 8 months later, so you know that it's not from the second guy, it's from the first guy, right? Haybar tisha lekamahu. So the Gemara says, no, that's not an option to wait 1 month either. Why? Inami letimnaya yalda, even if she gives birth to 8 months after being married to the second guy, right? You could still say the second one is the father. Maybe it took them 1 month to get pregnant, and it's a 7th-month baby for the second father. So the Gemara says, okay, let's think of another option. Let her wait 2.5 months. Okay, and then she'll get married. So so if 7 months she waits, her husband dies, she waits or she gets divorced 2.5 months, and then she gets married. So if 7 months after marrying the guy she gives birth, so this is 7-month baby from the second husband. Who? If she gives birth earlier than that, if she gives birth at 6.5 months, so Haybar Tisha Lekamahu. That's 9 months from the first, because she divorced him. She waited 2.5 months, and then 6.5 months later she had a baby. That's the first ones, right? Di bar batrahu barshita upalga lochai, because if the father is the second man, it's after 6.5 months. That's too early for a baby to live. So we could have her wait 2.5 months. Doesn't have to be 3 months. So the Gemara says no. That's also not a good solution, right? Even if she marries the second man, and she gives birth 6.5 months later, Ika lememar debatrahu. You could still say that the baby belongs to the second man, meaning a baby born at 6.5 months also has a chance to survive. Damar marzutra afiluman damar yoled letisha ina yoled lemkutain yalda leshiv'a yoled lemkutain. Because Marzutra says that even according to the opinion that says a 9-month baby to survive has to be full 9 months, can't be like 8 months and a day. It has to be a full 9 months. But 7-month baby could be 6 months and a little bit. It doesn't have to be 7 full months. The last month could be a partial month. It could be 7.5 months. How do we know this? So the Gemara says, Shnei Emar, Vayhi litkufot hayamim. The Pasuk says when Shmuel was born, right? When Chana was crying for a baby and she went and she prayed and Eli gave her a bracha. So it says, Vayhi litkufot hayamim. Tikufot is a tikufa is a season. Season is 3 months, right? You have 4 seasons a year, 12 months. So a season is 3 months. So tikufot is 2 seasons, that's 6 months, right? So miut tikufot shtaim, that's 6 months. And miut yamim shtaim, yamim is days, 2 days. So 6 months and 2 days. That's when she became, that's when she had a baby. So you see she was pregnant for 6 months and 2 days. So when we say 7 months, doesn't have to be a full 7 months. Could be into the 7th month already, 6 months plus a little bit, already it's possible for the baby to survive, because you see that's what happened with Chana. So the Gemara says, okay, fine. So you can't wait 2.5 months also. Okay. So I have a different, the Gemara says, let's take a different route over here. Why does she have to wait 3 months? Let's say like this. V'tamtin mashu v'tinaseh. Let her wait a little bit. Let her a week or 2 weeks. It's a very minimal amount of time. And then get married. And we could do like this. V'chimalu shlosha chodashim livdika. And when 3 months pass from when the husband died or when she divorced the husband, check her to see if she's pregnant. So Rashi says there's a way to check by, examining a physical examination on the woman to check if she's pregnant, and analyzing certain body parts to check if she's pregnant.
They do that? They don't do that.
The Gemara is asking, why don't we do that? Yeah, we have instead of making her wait 3 months, we have a different solution.
Just get the
let
test
her,
and finish.
let her. You want to know who she's. You want to know who she's. Whether she's pregnant from the first guy or the second guy. So let her get married a week later. Once the 3-month point from when the first husband died or divorced her comes, right away at that point check, and if she's pregnant, do a physical examination. They by checking certain body parts, they were able to tell. So do an examination, check. If she's pregnant, then you know it's from the first guy. If not, then it's from the second guy.
That means the lady cannot be pregnant until 3 months.
No, it's
the way that is it.
no.
Why they don't test
No.
the right before they get
Because
married?
at 3 months they can tell with these tests. Before that, they weren't able to tell. It's not like a test now that right after right when a lady becomes pregnant, she can urine in a cup and it tests. That's not what we're talking about. Certain examinations that they could do that they could only tell at the 3-month point. So Amar Rav Safra and Botkinet and Nisuot Shelo Yitganu Ba'alehen. Rav Safra says it's not it's a genai for the husband that they're gonna be checking the lady. It's not appropriate. It's gonna make her look bad in the eyes of the husband. So therefore we don't do it. So the Gemara says, okay, I have a different way to check her. That's not so bad. You could check by the way that she walks. Rashi says, the way if you take her to an area of sand, and by the way she walks on the sand, measuring her footprints, they were able to do some type of test to be able to tell at the 3-month point. So Amar Rami Bar Chama, Isha mechapa atzma kedei sheirash bena b'nechsei ba'ala. So the Rami Bar Chama says that test, is a lady could fake it, like a lady could get around to hide that she's pregnant. That type of test. And we're worried a lady's gonna hide it. Why would she hide it?
Well, she wants to
because she wants everybody to think that the second guy is the husband. Why? Because if the first guy is the husband, he's not gonna have to. He's not gonna have to pay for the child.
He has to divorce it.
No, not necessarily.
Not
necessarily. Not Yibum. We're not talking about Yibum. We're talking about she just divorced some guy and she's marrying another guy. So if the first guy is the husband, so he's already divorced. He's or whatever, that guy died. Let's say he's out of the picture. But she wants her current husband to take care of the child, so she's gonna hide that if she's pregnant from the first guy. So that test also doesn't work because she could hide it. So either way, what do you see? You see that she has to wait 3 months. All these other solutions don't work. Okay, so now hecha dekim lan de meubereti tinase. So the Gemara says, okay, we have a different question now. When we know for sure she's pregnant, so let her get married. Why do we have to, why can't we should let her get married when we know for sure she's pregnant? Alama Tanya, lo yisa adam meuberet chavero meneket chavero. Well, how come we have a halacha that says that a person is not allowed to marry a pregnant woman or a nursing woman? Right? There's a halacha that a person cannot marry a pregnant woman or a woman who just gave birth within 24 months, the time of nursing. Ve'im nasa yotzi, and if he does marry a pregnant woman or a nursing woman, he has to divorce her. Ve'lo yachzir olamit, and he's not allowed to take her back at all. There's a lot of tshuvas about this halacha of meneket chavero, that a person is not allowed to marry a woman with a young baby, either when she's pregnant or when she has a young baby under 24 months. Right? So, what's the reason? So, the Gemara says, Gzera, you can't marry a pregnant woman because Gzera shema ta'aseh ubara sandal. You can't marry a pregnant woman because we're worried that something might happen during pregnancy. She might somehow become pregnant again during the pregnancy, and it'll cause the baby in there to become deformed. So that's why you can't marry a pregnant woman. It could cause a deformity to the baby that's in there. So the Gemara says that if that's the case, if that's the case, then even with his own wife that's pregnant, he shouldn't be with his own wife that's pregnant. So the Gemara says, we already discussed this. Ilaman damar b'moch, b'moch. Ilaman damar min hashamayim yirachamu, min hashamayim yirachamu. For his own wife, we say, listen, either he can use some type of contraceptive, or if he can't, or the other opinion says, no, he doesn't have to do that. Min hashamayim, they're gonna be merachem, and nothing's gonna happen. Shomer b'tayim Hashem. So the Gemara says, okay, if you're saying that for a guy's own wife when he's pregnant, say that for a different lady who's pregnant. Hachanami, when he marries another pregnant lady, why is that a problem? According to the opinion that says he should use some type of birth control, he should use some type of birth control. According to the opinion that says, they're going to have rachamim on him from Shamayim and nothing's going to happen, so they're going to have rachamim on Shamayim with another lady also, not only with his own wife. So Ella Mishum Dichsa. Rather, what's the reason that a person's not allowed to marry a pregnant woman? Because we're worried he's gonna press on her when they're together, and it could cause the baby to have problems. So Ihachi Didenami. If that's the case, his own wife also he shouldn't be with when she's pregnant because he might press on the stomach and it could cause something to happen to the baby. So the question is no. His own child, he has a rachmanut on. If the wife is pregnant, he's gonna make sure not to put pressure on her stomach. So achanami chayesala. So the Gemara says, okay, what do you mean? Even if it's not his own child, also he's gonna have rachmanut. Ella stam meubered limnika kaima. So the Gemara says, no. You know what the whole reason is that a person's not allowed to be with a pregnant lady? Because there's a halacha that a person's not allowed to be with a nursing lady, and every pregnant lady is soon going to be a nursing lady, right? So Dilma Iabra, maybe she's going to become pregnant, and afterwards when she's nursing, she's going to become pregnant. Ma'acher chalava, and her chalav, her milk is going to be, her milk supply is going to go away. So vekatlale, and it's going to call, and then her son is going to end up dying because he's not going to have food to eat. So the Gemara says, okay, if that's the case, then his own wife also he shouldn't be with because we're worried that she's going to become pregnant while she's nursing and it's going to take away her milk supply and she's not going to be able to feed the baby. So the Gemara says, no. His own child, he could, give milk and eggs and, he could make something else for the child to sustain itself. So the Gemara says, Okay, even if it's not his own child, even if he married a woman who's nursing and she became pregnant and whatever, that child also he could give, even though he may cut out the milk supply, but he could give milk and eggs also to figure something out for that child to eat. So Gemara says lo yahiv labal. No, the husband is not gonna give to her because it's not his responsibility to feed that child that she had with a different person. So Gemara says okay, v'lit be'inali yorshim. Why can't she go to the Yorshim and say, hey, I need some of your inheritance. Some of it goes to feed this child. So Amar Abaye Isha Boshala Wula Beit Din V'Orged Ben Abaye says we're worried. Maybe she's going to be embarrassed to go to Beit Din and she's not going to realize the effect that it's going to have, and her milk supply is going to go out, and she's not going to have to feed her kid, and the child is going to die. Therefore, a person is not allowed to marry a woman who is nursing. So bottom line, a person is not allowed to marry a woman who's pregnant or nursing. Why? Because we're worried. The truth is, there's a big machlok about this Rambam and other Rishonim, but the way we have it in the Gemara, a person is not allowed to marry a woman who's pregnant or nursing. Why? Because we're worried that when she's nursing, she may have a baby. He's going to be with her when she's nursing, and she may become pregnant while she's nursing, and it'll cut out her milk supply, and she won't be able to feed her child, and she's not going to have any other way to feed the child, and that child is going to die. Therefore, if a man wants to marry a woman, he has to wait until when she has if she's pregnant or nursing, he has to wait until she that 24 months, right? Yeah. Until that end of the nursing term. Now the poskim talk about all different types of cases of what if it's within 24 months that she's done.
That has nothing to do with the Yevamot.
Nothing to do with the Yevamot. Correct. Okay. Either way, further in the Gemara. So said achad betulot v'achad bulot. Okay, so now in the Mishnah we said this halacha that a person has to wait 3 months before a lady has to wait 3 months before getting married. Now, even in non-Yevamot cases, we said if it's a betula or if it's a beula, right? If she's a betula, meaning or she had just nisuin, or she had just kiddushin, right? So
sometimes kiddushin, but still she's betula. It happened a few times.
Meaning there's nisuin, but she's still a betula. They have chuppah, but she's still betula. Kiddushin is
and everything is finished. The time of that night of the wedding, they got separated.
Right.
Before they go to the.
Okay, that's possible. Yeah, but the point is, in general, a betula is the same thing as what's it called? As an arusa, right? Because it's a single lady who just got kiddushin now she's considered married, but they weren't together yet. Or a be'ula is the same as a nisua, it's somebody who's fully married. So the Gemara says, why do we have to mention all of these things? Hai new betulot, v'hai new arusot. The betula and arusa is the same thing. And hai new be'ulot, v'hai new nisuot. The be'ula, someone who had bia, and a nisua, someone who's fully married, also had bia. It's the same thing. So Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Hachikam. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, what we mean to say is like this. We're saying all together. Achad betulot, achad be'ulot, shenit armelu, o shenit garshu, minei rusin, minei nisuin. All of them, a betula or a be'ula that was, whether she had kiddushin or nisuin, any variation of any of those cases doesn't make a difference. They all have to wait the 3 months before getting married. Okay, Rabbi Elazar lo ala Beit Midrasha. So Rabbi Elazar one time didn't go to the Beit Midrash. Maybe he was sick, he was old. He didn't go to the Beit Midrash. Ashche le Rabbi Asi. He bumped into Rabbi Asi. He said, what was the shiur about today? What did they teach in the Beit Midrash? What was the discussion? So Amar lehachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Halachak Rabbi Yossi. So he said Rabbi Yochanan taught that halacha is like Rabbi Yossi. Now Rabbi Yossi was the last opinion in the Mishnah. He said that if you know that the lady is not pregnant, she's right. Or Rabbi Yossi said you're allowed to be me'ares. You just can't get fully married. You're allowed to be me'ares. You can give a kiddushin to a lady because you're not being together. Yeah. So Michlal dichida paligale. It sounds like it's not chachamim that argue with Rabbi Yossi. It sounds like it's a single opinion that argues with Rabbi Yossi. So the Gemara says, yes, that's true. V'atanya hare shehayita redufa lelech lebeit avia. Let's say you have a lady who she's always at her father's house. So for the months before her husband separated from her, she was at her father's house. So we know they weren't together for a few months before the husband died or the husband divorced her. Or she had a fight with her husband and she wasn't living with him. We know they weren't living together for a few months before they got separated or he died. Or her husband was in jail. Or the husband was old and he's not able to have children anyways. Or he was sick, he was in the hospital, so we know they weren't together. Or she was sick, so we know they weren't together. Or after her husband died, she had a miscarriage, so we know she's not pregnant. All these cases, we know she's not pregnant. Or or she was not able to have children. Or zekena, or she's elderly. Or ketana, or she's a ketana. Or ailonit, or she's ailonit. Or she'ena riuya leled, or she's not able to have children. Tzricha lahamtin gimel chodashim. Divrei Rabbi Meir. Now we put a name to this opinion. Rabbi Meir says, I don't care what the case is. Chachamim said you have to wait 3 months.
All this argument for nothing.
This is the first opinion. This is the same as the first opinion of our Mishnah. Right? Rabbi Yossi argues with this. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi argue with this. But Rabbi Meir holds it doesn't matter. The way Chachamim set it up is everybody has to wait 3 months. Even if you know she's not pregnant, she has to wait 3 months. Rabbi Yehuda, or Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yehuda, they both agree to this, that matir li'ares v'linaseh miyad. He allows to do erusin and to marry right away in these cases, because you know they're not pregnant. Even to marry, v'linaseh miyad, even to get fully married.
So be all together at that time.
Yeah, because you know she's not pregnant, right? If her husband was in jail and he died, so she doesn't have to wait 3 months according to Rabbi Meir. She has to wait 3 months. It doesn't matter. Whenever the husband died, you wait 3 months. According to Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi, she doesn't have to wait 3 months. Her husband was in jail. You know she's not pregnant. As long as you know she's not pregnant, that's good. So we put a name to the opinion. So we say it's not Chachamim that argue with Rabbi Yossi, it's Rabbi Meir. So Amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba Chazar bar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Chia bar Abba says that Rabbi Yochanan changed his mind. First, Rabbi Yochanan said halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, but then he changed and he said halacha is like Rabbi Meir, which is the way we pass it in this situation. Amar Rav Yosef ihadar b'madnitin dekar mahadar. If he changed his mind from the following braita. Detanya. The Braita says like this: Amar Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka. Shamati mipi chachamim beKerem beyavneh. He said, I heard from the chachamim in Kerem beyavneh, the yeshiva in Yavna, that they sat in rows, just like a vineyard, in arranged rows. So kulan tzrichot lahamtin shlosha chodashim. All those cases, even when you know they're not pregnant, they need to wait 3 months. Amar le Rabbi Yirmiyah le Rabbi Zerika. Rabbi Yirmiyah said to Rabbi Zerika, Ki ayelet lekame de Rabbi Avau Ramile. He says, when you go to Rabbi Avau, ask him the following question. Miyam Rabbi Yochanan halacha ke Rabbi Yossi, v'am Rabbi Yochanan halacha ke stam Mishnah. So he said, ask him, did Rabbi Yochanan really say halacha is like Rabbi Yossi? We have a rule. Rabbi Yochanan says halacha is like stam Mishnah, and stam Mishnah is not Rabbi Yossi. Stam Mishnah in our Mishnah was Rabbi Meir. So halacha is not like should not be like Rabbi Yossi. Halacha is like a stam Mishnah. Vitnan kol anashim lo yinasu v'lo yitarsu, and the stam Mishnah teaches that all the ladies, doesn't matter if they're pregnant or not, they're not allowed to get married ad shiyu lahem shlosha chodashim, until there's 3 months. Achad betulot v'achad beulot, whether they're pregnant or not. So Amar le the Ramalacha lochash lekimche. He said the one who asked this question, he doesn't care about what's what's coming out of his mouth. Meaning you're not paying attention to what you're saying. Stam v'achagach machloketi. Our Mishnah is not just a stam Mishnah; it's a stam v'achagach machloket. We have a stam Mishnah that says that any lady has to wait 3 months, regardless of whether or not she's pregnant. But then we have a machloket about it afterwards. Ve'en halacha kestam. And when you have a stam Mishnah that says one halacha, and then later on there's a Mishnah that brings a machloket about it, we don't follow the stam Mishnah necessarily. Damar Rav Papa veitema Rabbi Yochanan machloket v'achar kach stam. If you first have a machloket in a Mishnah, and later on you just have a stam Mishnah that goes with one opinion, so halacha kestam. In that case, halacha is like the stam Mishnah. But stam v'achakach machloket, if you first have a stam Mishnah and then afterwards there's a machloket about it, ein halacha kestam. Halacha is not like the stam. So that's so therefore over here this is a stam v'achakach machloket. Therefore halacha is not necessarily like the stam. So we don't have a stira in Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, I guess we will stop here.